Broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown studios inside Santander Stadium. Welcome to Revs Hot Stove Weekly, your preseason home for York Revolution baseball, and the only place to hear the latest player signings first. Revs Hot Stove Weekly on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports. Now, here are the hosts of Revs Hot Stove Weekly, Darryl Henry and Atlantic League Manager of the Year, Mark Mason.
And welcome in once again, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Revs Hot Stove Weekly, our second ever edition of the show as the Revs preseason continues. Darryl Henry along with Mark Mason. And remember, you can find us every Friday from 4 to 5 live here on Sports Radio 1350. Also online, WOYK1350.com, and on the WOYK mobile apps. You can be part of the show. You can message us on Facebook at WOYK1350. Just like the page, send us a message. You can tweet at us at WOYK1350 as well. You can throw things at us. You can do everything at us. Ray Jensen is the man on the social media engine and on the board today. So with that said, glad you can tune in. Glad you can join us again this week, Revs fans and anyone from around the Atlantic League here as we continue our preseason specials. Mace, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Darryl.
And I must say, we must start the show with a story. This man to my left became my hero this past weekend. A harrowing escape from the ballpark was nearly in order for me. I proceeded on Sunday to, for the first time ever, heading into our 9th season here, I locked myself in. And I was debating my next move and the pros and the cons of such moves and examining my options, and wouldn't you know, Mace was here. He was out in the clubhouse and able to rescue me from whatever might have happened next.
Yeah, it was a great rescue. I opened 2 doors for you and were able to get you in unscathed, so at least you didn't have to hurdle the fence.
That's true. That's what I was concerned about most, and who doesn't need a little off-season excitement? So, well, what's coming up tonight here on the station, want to make sure we plug that before we go any further. Our high school basketball game of the week, presented by Wellspan Sports Medicine. Ron Ruman and Andy Bria hit the air at 6:30. It is the Boys League Championship game from York College at the Grumbacher Center, and Central against York High in a rematch of the championship game from last season. Also then at 9 o'clock tonight, roughly 9 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood, joining the Hershey Bears and the Albany Devils in progress. Tomorrow, Central PA game day at 9 a.m. We have York College basketball on the road from Southern Virginia at 12:45, and then Hershey Bears hockey again tomorrow night at 6:20. So with all of that said, all of our housekeeping is in order. I guess it's time to get on with this week's show. You want to talk some baseball, Mace? That is why we're here.
I'm ready.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what, Ray? Why don't we break some news? What do you say?
Great Odin's Raven! I've just been handed an urgent news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
That's right. You might want to stop the presses. Stop what you're doing, and we've come to our first breaking news on the program this week. By the way, 3 player signings this week. We got off to a flying start with 4 last week, and I guess we better pace ourselves since there only are 27 spots on the roster to begin the season anyway. But our first of 3 signings this week, and I do think I'm going to drag this out as long as I can and frustrate Revs fans everywhere before we actually say the name. I do think that Revs fans will be very excited with the 3 players this week. And Mace, would you agree? Before we mention a name, I think we've got 3 good ones on tap and 3 different parts of the roster that are being addressed.
I agree. I think everyone will be very happy with the announcements this week.
All right. Well, the breaking news effect has played. I guess there's only one other thing to do. I guess we ought to name him. Number 1 this week, returning to the team in 2015, This gentleman flirted with the Revs' single-season ERA record a year ago. Matter of fact, he came within 1 percentage point of matching the mark. He also came within 2 2/3 innings of qualifying for the league leaders. He would have ranked third in the league in ERA last season. That's how good of a year he had. First-year Rev a year ago. He's returning this season. Left-handed starter. Those are gold when you can find those. Logan Williamson returning to the team here in 2015. Mace, what a job he did for you last year, and even in his last start for you in the postseason, 7 scoreless innings, a no decision in that Game 4 of the series, but he rose to the occasion, and he went through a stretch there, middle of the season, mid-June until late August, 14 starts in a row where he gave up 2 earned runs or fewer. The man was awesome more often than not last season. How excited are you to have him back?
We're very happy to have Logan back, and I'm happy for him. He came in last year. He bounced around a lot. He was in the United League for a while. Then I think he bounced to a team in the American Association and then ended up here. I really liked him when he played at Southern Maryland. So when he was available, I remembered him from 2013, and I reached out to him, and I was happy that he came here. And sometimes it's just about a fit for a player. I know he had the talent. I thought he threw the ball really well when he was in Southern Maryland, and he came here, worked really well with Fletch, and we talked about a lot of things like we do with all our players, but he settled in and did a great job for us.
2.72 was his ERA last year. That was 1 point away from what Ryan Fearben did in 2012 for the team record. Only 6-7 in 20 starts, but Mace, the team went 12-8 in those 20 starts. So obviously, he gave you more than a good chance every night. And we actually have an interview with Logan on this show that we'll get to here in a moment. But one of the things that he addressed, he understands it, he recognizes it. He knows that sometimes he gets so intense that it can be his own downfall, but at the same time, that edge can really help him if he harnesses it the right way. And he's got that nasty streak about him out on the mound, and he's also not your typical soft tossing lefty. He's got pretty good stuff out there, and I would imagine that. I guess you look at left-handers as a premium in a starting role in this league, and that certainly makes him a good fit, I would think.
Well, if you look at the left-handers that we've talked about, obviously Logan had a great year last year. Chris Cody's been phenomenal here. John Halama did really well in this league. Ryan Fearben has done really well in this league. You can just go on and on with quality left-handed starters in this league. They pitch really well if they can keep the ball down and away from the right-handed hitter. Logan, I do agree, his intensity sometimes can be to his detriment. If there's any conversations that I had with him during the year, it was more about just trying to calm himself down out there. He would have a tendency to get upset, but that said, did everything that you want from a starting pitcher. He gives you 18 outs, 21 outs. He doesn't give the game away while he's in there. He gives you a chance to win the game. And, when you pitch every 5 days as a manager, I would like to see 18 to 21 outs and then turn it over to the bullpen.
Yeah, he doesn't want to come out. In fact, I remember a game in Camden where it rained last year early in the game, and their guy was done after 3 innings, and he was still out there through 5, maybe even into the 6th, if I remember that night. And it was kind of cold and ugly, but you have to go wrestle the ball away from him. Sometimes you want that, right?
You do want that, but you want the player to understand that you're looking out for their best interest too. And when you compete and when you only play every 5 days like a starting pitcher, when it's your turn, you want to be out there. Matt DeSelva was kind of the same way. You had to wrestle him for the ball too after rain delays, but Logan, just a fiery competitor, and that's one of the things I like about him. And besides that, he's a quality pitcher too, and I think he lives here year round now. I think he's real comfortable in the area, so all those things are a plus.
29 years old, and last season, not his only successful experience in the Atlantic League the year before with Southern Maryland, 5-3 with a 3.66 ERA, 31 appearances, 12 starts, and also spent part of that year in the Mexican League. So great to have him back. You're right, Mace. He is in York throughout the year. We probably could have gone to see him for this interview, but we got him over the phone earlier today. And the newest signee of the York Revolution returning for 2015, Logan Williamson, joining us on the show. Well, Logan, great to have you back. And you and I were talking last year. I know you had bounced around a little bit. You were kind of looking for a place to settle in. Do you feel like you found a home here in York last season?
Well, I certainly hope so. It definitely provides a good atmosphere to feel at, and you definitely want to have that in your home ballpark. So it's nice to have that here, and I just hope I can do as well as I did last year to kind of stick around and keep producing. You know, that's the best way to stay on a team is to stay good and to stay ahead of the curve.
Well, no question, you had an outstanding season for us. Is there anything that you want to still improve upon further, though, that's kind of a focus coming into this year, or do you not really look at it so much? I mean, are you just trying to, kind of iron out everything heading into a season?
No, the off season is definitely a time to evaluate yourself and to try to take what you learned the previous year and years past and try to be a better pitcher. If you're not doing that, then there's really no reason to try to play anymore if you're not going to try to continually get better. And for me, it's always a mental game. I always have to try to calm my emotions and to try to take it one pitch at a time. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. If you can reset every time and not be so invested into the past, then your present and your future they're going to be a lot better. So that's always my focus, to try to lock in mentally, stay invested at every pitch, and reset for the next one. It's always a struggle, that's for sure, especially for me. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I try not to do that as much. So that's what I focus on a lot.
Does that edge also help you, though, sometimes, if you harness it the right way?
It does, and it helps to harness it and to use it to your advantage if you can keep your mentality just at a level playing field. That way you can turn up the volume or turn down the volume as necessary. So it definitely does help to have that in your pocket. And if you don't waste it at the wrong time, it's good to be able to reach in there and use it to your advantage at the right time. The timing's everything.
Talking with Logan Williamson. Well, you've had the opportunity to pitch outside of the country this season, winter ball in Puerto Rico. What was that experience like?
Well, it was my second year down there, and got to play for a really good team, a really good manager, Alex Cora, and it was a blessing, and it was a great opportunity to go down there and play baseball with those guys. I got to see affiliated players, league players at work every day. At every position, a lot of our catchers were rovers with different organizations. So I show up to the ballpark every day, just kind of trying to absorb everything, getting to see how they do it at the highest level, and carry over into my game, and maybe help others along the way as well. If anybody needs a little piece of advice, I can kind of reach back into the memory bank and maybe pull something out that I got to see down there. So it was a good experience, definitely 100%.
Given the fact that you've been pitching this winter, what's the routine like for you now? With about 2 months, a little over 2 months away from opening day, what's the weekly routine like for you at this point?
Well, I'm just taking a couple weeks off, honestly. Physically, just not going to throw much, not going to do much except occasional lift or something athletic to get the blood flow going. But like we were saying, it's kind of a warm welcome to see this cold weather. I kind of relax in the house and look out the window and see a couple snow flurries come through is always enjoyable, so I don't mind it at all.
When you're inside, are you a TV guy, a video game guy? What gets you through these weeks?
I'm definitely a TV guy. I like to surf the channels and listen to a couple sports radio shows, and that's about it. My girlfriend plays a lot of PlayStation 4. We just got one for Christmas, so I watch her a little bit, cheer her on. Other than that, I relax. I watch my TV shows. I like to surf the channels a lot.
Anything you're hooked on right now?
I like the Dan Patrick Show. I watch that every morning, so I plug that on the radio.
Yeah, that a boy.
Yeah, that's my favorite morning routine is to watch 3 hours of the Dan Patrick Show.
I think that's what Ray and I do here in the studio too. He graces our station every morning for 3 hours. And Logan, when do you start to get the itch for the next season? When do you start to get antsy to get out there again?
Once I see them gearing up on TV for the big league season, you start to there's always a little feeling inside that you should be out there and you have the ability to get out there. So once you see them doing it, you kind of feel like a bull in the stable where you're sort of getting ready to get out there and showing your stuff. So being the independent league started a little later, you get to watch the first couple of weeks kind of kick off without you, and that's always a little bit of motivation for me going into a new season.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing you back here, Logan. Congratulations on locking down your return, and thanks a lot for joining us on the show today. Can't wait for April.
Hey, me too. No problem. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right, Logan Williamson re-signed with the Revs for 2015, and Mace, I always knew I liked him, and now I find out he's a huge fan of the DP show on Sports Radio 1350. He watches it on TV, which is fine too, but...
Well, that makes two of us. That's how I spend my mornings, too, watching Dan Patrick on the computer, on the phone, and Dan Patrick on the television. So
very good.
We all have something in common early in the morning.
Very good. Actually, I know, Mace, you've been known to tune into our station a little bit. You reminded me that you were tuned into a York College game recently when I was so excited about the win, I forgot to write down the final score, and it was gone.
I was going to text you.
Did you remember it?
I did remember it. And I'm sitting in the car saying, come on, Daryl. 54-42, come on, Daryl. But then somebody got it to you before I could text it.
I think Ray did, yeah. One other thing before we take a break, very random, but there's a cat on the field here at Santander Stadium, and the warning track is like an ice, kind of like speed skating. It's the oval. And I didn't see how the cat fared on the ice, but hopefully you find somewhere warmer.
It didn't fare too well
not
initially,
too well.
No. But at least it's not a black cat.
It was gray.
So we're happy about that.
That's a much better omen than the alternative. Well, there you have it. Logan Williamson is our first signing of this show and returning to the Revs. Very much excited about that. We've got much more on tap. 2 more signings to go this week, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Revs Hot Stove Weekly here on Sports Radio 1350, WOYK1350.com, and the WOYK mobile apps.
Turning a double play takes teamwork, and so does preparing for life's challenges. Murray Securus works with you, hand in hand, providing thoughtful solutions to help you plan for the future. Team up with Murray Securus for safer, more secure risk management, personal insurance, health benefits, wealth management, even cutting-edge human resource solutions for individuals and small to large businesses. Living life in a winning way just takes a little teamwork. Call Murray Securus today at 397-9600 or go to murrayins.com.
Bill Raftery from CBS Sports, the man who gave us the expression, onions. I actually thought that onions meant you're slicing onions and you're making the other team or coach cry with a big shot.
Well, it's about toughness. Okay. You know, it really is.
So it has nothing to do with slicing onions. And I saw where you got criticized by one of the media critics that you shouldn't be saying onions because of what it means.
Well, that's his interpretation. It's just, I just think it's just somebody that these kids respond in the most difficult of moments and step up, and it's something that will be chronicled the rest of their lives. And
what's your wife say when you say, you know what, I say onions?
I wish you had them.
She said that she wishes you had onions? Patrick from 3.
On Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports. The York College Spartans play here. Catch York College basketball all season on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. Your home for York's home teams.
And now a steal at the other end. Wagner picks one away, a foot race, and lays home another one. Dribbles foul line, a jump pass down to Shea, and she has 10.
The spot for the Spartans. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports. In the midst of the long, harsh Pennsylvania winter, anticipation is building. An undeniable excitement born from the knowledge that each passing day brings us closer to a new beginning. One day closer to making a statement. Closer to writing a new chapter in the York Revolution's history. As we count down to April 24th, we're reminded that each day brings us closer to the start of something special. Sports Radio 1350, WOYK.
It's a big championship rematch between Central York and York High in our high school basketball game of the week presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. Join Ron Rubin and Andy Bria beginning at 6:30 tonight live from the Grumbacher Center at York College as they bring you the YAIAA Boys Championship game, which is a rematch from last year's contest between the Central York Panthers and the York High Bearcats. You can listen on the air on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, online at WOYK1350.com, and on the WOYK mobile apps.
Hey, this is Mark Malone from NBC Sports Radio. The Revs play here. Catch York Revolution Baseball on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Welcome back here to Revs Hot Stove Weekly. Daryl Henry along with Mark Mason. Two more signings on tap on this show. Logan Williamson is back in the fold. He is the first one back for this week. So we move along now and get to a bat. Get a bat in the lineup here as our first position player of this week's show is unveiled. And one of the things that we started last week, fans can identify with a player's entrance music. So last week on the first show, the way that we broke the news about Therm returning, naturally, was with Bernie. You will never see Mace and I trying to dance. The show would be canceled. But even though Therm went away from Bernie and went old school last year, that's how we introduced him. So this week, we have a tune, actually from a couple of years ago here at the ballpark, that maybe some folks might remember. Don't worry, if not, we'll tell you who it is. But this is how we are going to introduce player number 2 here on week number 2 of Revs Hot Stove Weekly. Hit it, Ray.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here.
Want to bring back some good memories. Memories of offensive production in Revs history. Maybe a memory of a cycle at home against Sugarland back in 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, Dre is back. Andres Perez returning for his third season in a Revolution uniform, his first since 2013, spending last season in the American Association with Sioux City. And he joined us earlier today, and he'll tell us a little bit about that move from last year and his excitement level of returning. But Mace being able to get Dre back here, and he'll enter this season top 5, top 7, 8, whatever, and in various offensive categories, just about all of them in Revolution history after what he did in his first 2 years here with the team. What are you looking at with bringing Dre back after a year away, and how did the move come to fruition to actually get his rights back here?
Well, after spending last year in the American Association, Dre reached out to his manager, who I know really well, and asked if he could come back to the Atlantic League. So Steve Montgomery reached out to me and to see if I would have interest in bringing him back. And obviously, we want to have Dre back. He's probably one of the most feared hitters in our league. He's done very well for us here, very productive, and it's a good bat to have in the middle of our order. especially with Chad Tracy leaving to manage an A-ball team. So we need to pick up some slack there in the middle of our lineup. So being able to get Dre back was big for us, and I took advantage of that.
Now, 2012 with York, he hit .314, 23 home runs, 86 RBIs. He set a club record for total bases, which led the league. He was named to Baseball America's All-Independent team in 2012. Then 2013, still a good year. The average did dip to 290, but when you're dipping to 290, that's pretty good. 13 home runs, so he took a little step back in power, but he led the league with a team record 38 doubles. Now, the 13 home runs in 2013, Mace, he was playing through some injuries. He was not completely healthy for a good part of that season. What do you remember about how well he was able to perform even at way less than 100%, and what are you hoping for this year if he's able to come in, knock on wood, back at full health? Do you hope to get the 2012 Dre back in here?
I do think that we can get the 2012 version back. He's that type of hitter. And in 2013, like you mentioned, he was having some problems with his right wrist and thumb, and he's another one of those guys that doesn't like to come out of the lineup. So, giving him a DH role and giving him some days off to try to heal up, it's just tough when you can't use your top hand when you hit. It makes it pretty difficult, and that was a situation for him, and that was the result of some of the power numbers going down that year, especially later in the second half. But I know every team in this league would want to have him. He's a deadly hitter, and when he gets locked in, it's fun to watch. And I know there'll be a lot of managers that will not be happy to see him put on a Revs uniform this year and step into the box.
Yeah, he was a first-team Atlantic League All-Star both years that he was in York previously. He'll enter this year in Revs history 8th in games played, 6th in runs, 7th in at-bats, 5th in hits, tied for 5th in homers, 4th in extra base hits, 2nd in doubles, which I think he's 9 behind Ramon Castro heading into the season. So that's one that he could take over the all-time lead for fairly quickly. 5th in RBIs, tied for 4th in total bases, 8th in slugging, 7th in walks. So you get an idea of the type of mark that he made in his first 2 seasons here. How about defensively, Mace? One of the great stories of 2012 was the improvements that he made at second base. And are you looking to slot him right back in there, or do you have a feel yet for what you want to do with him defensively?
Well, in my conversations with him, we've talked about working him out at first base this year, taking a look at him at first base. I like versatility in the roster, so the fact that we know he can play second base, that helps as well. But this year we're gonna take a good look at him at first base. With, like I said, with Chad not being around, we'll have some options at first base, and I'm going to give Dre that opportunity as well.
Well, again, earlier today, the newest member of the 2015 Revs, Andres Perez, returning. And again, we caught up with Dre by phone, actually spending a few days in Florida here during the offseason this week. Dre, it's great to have you back here. Number one, how excited are you to come back to York after a season away?
Yeah, I feel good. I always enjoy my time with York. We've always put together good teams, and we have a lot of talent on those teams, and I'm always excited to come back to Atlantic League, where it's the best competition around.
What was the best part in your experience about playing here? I mean, is there a certain comfort level that you were able to achieve? Is it a good hitter's park? Is there something in particular that you really like?
I would say it's just the professional environment. Everybody goes out and they handle their jobs as professionals. Good coaching. We always have a good. We have always had a good manager, and we've always had a good hitting coach with Polanco and stuff. So he works with a lot of the hitters. He's worked with me, and I feel like just being around a good group of guys always helps. It helps you be comfortable and play at your best.
Well, coming into this season, Dre, you're top 5, top 7 in almost every Revs career category. Obviously, you had 2 great seasons here, but if memory serves, 2013, the numbers that you put up, you did that while playing through a little bit of an injury, right? You were a little banged up that year and still had a pretty good season for us.
Yeah, you had a few little things and stuff like that, but, I was able to stay on the field. I just made sure that I had any injuries to try to get to the stadium early and take care of that. But 2013 was an okay year for me. I was able to battle through some injuries, but I want to just step in this year and give it all I got, help the team out.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing you back in a York uniform. How did last season go for you with the move to the American Association in Sioux City?
It was just something that I wanted to try out. I was trying to see if I can play at a different location, maybe if I can get a different exposure from playing in a different part of the United States. It was an experience. It's a different, more of a different league as far as it's a lot of travel. So it's kind of hard on the body, stuff like that. So we had some long trips. But it's fine with me. You got to just try to venture out and see what opportunities you can find elsewhere. But I feel that at this stage, for me, I think my opportunities would serve best if I tried to stay in the Atlantic League, where they got more guys, my age, and guys that are trying to put up good numbers and see what happens. So.
Talking with Andres Perez, well, back in 2009, of course, you were able to play your way from Newark into the Dodgers organization. How are you a different player now than you were in 2009 as a relatively young guy when you first came into the league?
I would say just 2009 was a good year for me because I was able to learn from a lot of the guys that I had in Newark. When I was in Newark, they had a lot of guys that had a lot of major league experience. So I asked them a lot of questions. I tried different things out with my swing and ways like in the batting cage and things like that. And I was able to, I guess, rejuvenate myself as a hitter and as a player. So, it's just one of those things where I just took advantage of the opportunity of being around older guys.
So how's this offseason been going for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Just resting. Also getting stronger. Spending time with the family and things like that. Just trying to do all the things that'll get my body prepared and also get myself mentally prepared for the season.
You and I both love video games. I wish I got to play them more. Which one are you on right now?
Which video game?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm taking a little break.
Really?
I'm taking a little break, but I'm usually on Call of Duty, things like that. I like those war games.
Have you ever beaten the game?
Have you ever beaten the game?
Yeah. Have you gotten the whole way through it?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I go. When I get in, when I start something, I try to finish it. So I've played my share of campaigns and I got all the way to the end and beat them. Yeah.
Oh, that a boy! If I need help with it this summer, I'm looking for you.
Sure, yeah, I'm always down to help. So if you're ever having a hard time on a level, just let me know. I'll come by.
All right. Well, sounds good, Dre. We definitely look forward to seeing you back here again. Congratulations on your return to York, and thanks a lot for taking the time today.
Yeah, appreciate it, Darryl. I want to thank the York Revolution organization and also the fans. For giving me a chance to come back and hopefully everything goes well this year and I do well and the team does well and everybody's just happy with our performance on the field.
Oh yes, sir. I know they'll be excited to see you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no doubt. Great to hear from Dre and Mace. He's not messing around with like Mario or anything light. He's going for the sinister games. He takes his gaming seriously.
He does take it seriously. He puts a lot of hours on the Xbox. I know that to be a fact. So it'll be great to have him back. He's another guy that's fun in the clubhouse and gets along with all the players.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. So there you have it. Andres Perez returning in 2015, as just announced here on our show. Well, we have a third signing on tap today, and actually, we're going to talk to this guy live when we come back, so stay tuned. Our third signing here on this week's show is coming up. Also, don't forget, we are taking your questions for Mace, your comments, and feel free to message the show. You can like our WOYK 1350 Facebook page and send us a message there, or tweet at us on Twitter at WOYK 1350. And Ray Jensen has all of that covered for us here on this week's program. Another player signing is still to come, and we'll unveil who it is next. You're listening to Revs Hot Stove Weekly here on Sports Radio 1350, WOYK1350.com, and the WOYK mobile apps.
Security in life isn't something you just wish for. You build it with a strong financial plan. Start with Northwestern Mutual. Together, we'll design a disciplined and balanced approach to financial security, because reaching your goals is something we both want to work toward. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on the Square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Waking up with the Zabe. The Steve Zabin Show.
I know that replay in baseball did not win the weekend. Several more incidents that have people completely up in arms about how replay is being used in baseball. The good thing is, I don't really care, because it's baseball.
The Steve Zabin Show on Yahoo Sports Radio.
I can just sit back and laugh and say, good luck with that, reviewing all kinds of close plays all over the field, all over the base paths. Good luck reviewing all those things starting in April and going all summer long with a convoluted replay system and a bag of headphones that is brought out so the umpires can stand around and wait to see what New York says about a play. He lifted his foot off the bag for a second. Oh, we didn't have that replay. Even though local TV had the replay and the stadium had the replay, New York did not. Join me, Steve Zabin, mornings at 6 on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
January and February are Caribbean months at Fender's Grill and Pub, located at the Wyndham Garden, York, formerly the Holiday Inn by the West Manchester Mall. Featuring chef's Caribbean specialties and Caribbean drinks, plus Fender's regular menu. Visit Fender's to beat the winter blues and sign up for a chance to win a beach vacation. Register during January and February. The winner will be drawn on March 1st. Fender's is open daily for breakfast and dinner, for private parties, and we have live entertainment Friday nights. Fender's Grill and Pub, 2000 Louts Road in York. Come visit us today.
The puck drops here.
Wellman, the shot, score!
Sports Radio 1350, your home for Hershey Bears hockey.
Casey Wellman has won it in overtime for Hershey.
And the Washington Capitals.
Hearing a shot, they score!
Defending the Den and rocking the red all season. Catch the Bears and the Caps on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports. The York College Spartans play here. Catch York College basketball all season on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. Your home for York's home team.
And that's going to do it. The York College Spartans are 2014 CAC champions.
The spot for the Spartans. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports. Your teams all the time. York's only place for local sports. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Here on Revs Hot Stove Weekly, continuing on, and already two signings announced today, Logan Williamson and Andres Perez, both returning to York. Daryl Henry along with Mark Mason here in studio at Santander Stadium, which is just a little over 2 months away from opening night. The Revs get to open at home again this year, Friday, April 24th, against Long Island. And Mace, actually, we saw a cat on the field just a few minutes ago. Earlier this week, I saw well, I guess they weren't ducks. I guess technically they were geese, but it was close. There was a whole flock of geese on the field, and it was almost like the ducks were here early, like they were ready for opening day. Maybe not, but I don't know. Gave me something to think about, to ponder.
Well, don't hurt yourself with that. There is a lot of grass out there today, though.
Actually, yeah, for being 20 degrees or whatever it is, it's the sun has melted some of that, so it won't be long. But our live interview will have to be put on hold until the next segment. A little difficulty connecting, and actually, it would be really funny if we could share what happened last week when we were getting Brandon Jones on the program. It was simply me unable to work the machinery in here, but it took a few tries. But we'll try to get our live guest here in just a few minutes. But I guess, Mace, we can unveil who it is without him. I mean, I guess we can still get into it and announce our next signing. What do you think?
I believe so.
All right, we'll still try to get him on here later in the program. He's out west, if that gives any hints. But as we've been doing, where we're able to, we unveil it with sound effects. We unveil it with one's own personal tune. I'm pretty confident that people will know who this is. Ray, turn it up.
Time goes slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwind. If you're lost, you can love, you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be
it sure does take a special guy to come out to Cyndi Lauper, and that would be Bo Vaughn. Ace Bo is back for another year, and that sure is exciting. So 3 great signings here this week, and with Bo, you get a guy who was a tremendous member of that bullpen last season. You had the best starting rotation statistically in Revs history, but the best bullpen as well. And he had 8 wins out of that bullpen. And I know there's a lot of different roles. I mean, pretty much if you need a role filled out there in that bullpen, you can turn to him, and he's going to get it done for you.
Absolutely agree, 100%. He started for us. He threw long relief. He could close if I needed it. Great setup guy. Anywhere in the game do you need Bo, he would go out and give you everything he had. Another guy that is not afraid to pitch 3 days, 4 days in a row, which is something I don't like to do to my relievers. I like to give them 3 days at the most and then at least 1 day off. But sometimes it would be funny when I post the lineup card in the clubhouse. If I'm going to put a reliever down, I don't put his name on the list for that particular night. And if I had Bo off the list, there would be a knock at my door on a regular basis. Basically, he'd say, "Mace, I'm fine, I'm good. You can use me." Even when he needed to be down, he would say, "In an emergency, break glass only." That was our saying we'd have to each other. In case of emergency, break the glass. So he never wanted to be down, and really had just an outstanding season for us. And it's great when you can depend on a guy as much as we depended on him, and then they come through for you. So he was a big part of our success last year.
Well, just did hear back from Bo, and he will be good to join us here in a few minutes. But Mace, as you look ahead to this season, do you have a role in mind for him, or is there an ideal role? Let's put it that way. If all the pieces are in place that you want, do you kind of have an idea where you want to go with him?
It's kind of early to do that. It would definitely be the same type of role as we had last year. He's very tough on right-handed hitters. And for me, he's a guy that pitches after the 6th inning in the game. He's one of the guys that you want out there later in the game to shut the other team down, to try to finish them off. So I would see him once again after the 6th inning for the most part, probably after the 7th inning. Bo's he's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. Probably nobody in the league has ever walked more miles in the bullpen than Bo Vaughn. And Bo supported some of the greatest hairstyles we had on our team last year as well. So just an all-around character, keeps it loose, a lot of fun. And I know our fans appreciated some of the hairstyles that he brought down to the dugout for the games. And I'm very, very happy to have him back.
I think I'm partial to the little pigtails. Did you have a favorite of his?
I like the one where it was up on top of the head, the little pigtail that stood straight up. I kind of like that one. But it was funny when Bo was in Lancaster, and we would watch him about the third inning. He'd start pacing the bullpen, and Etch and I would say, "Oh, there he goes, there goes our guy," and nothing has really changed for him, and it's just part of his routine. And it's when you're getting the results that he gets, you just let him do what he needs to.
Now, do other teams, or maybe even his own teammates, do other guys out there make fun of that? And does he just not care? I mean, he's not going to change. It works for him.
No, he's not going to change. And what's really interesting is when we bring him in, he pitches an inning, and then he comes in the dugout. If I'm not going to take him out of the game, you either have to sit on the bench or get up on the top step, because he wears that walkway out in the dugout the whole while we're hitting. So you hear a lot of excuse me when he's in the game, because he's pacing that dugout like a cat on a hot tin roof down there. But usually I'll tell him, can you conserve some energy? And he's like, no, I'm good. And just it's a blast to have him back.
Do you think he'll be walking during our interview today?
He might be. It wouldn't surprise me, I'll tell you that, if he's walking. He walks a lot. He walks after batting practice, obviously during the game in the bullpen. And, I think that was all part of getting him into the shape that he's in now, too. So that's a regiment that he's staying with.
Yeah, I know one of his biggest highlights from last year was when you let him bat. And, of course, his baseball card has that image of him at the plate on it. So I think Joe Dahl took that photo for us. But, true to form, it's a little bit off the wall with Bo, and you need some guys like that.
He's a typical reliever. And I will say one thing about when we have pitchers BP, which we give the pitchers when we sweep a series or throw a shutout, he can hit the ball a long way in this ballpark. I've seen him hit some monster home runs here in pitchers BP. And then when we put him in the game, I think he put a little bit too much pressure on himself, and it really didn't work out too well. But I'm really happy to have him back. He'll be a big part of our success this year, and just a great teammate as well. And that's one common theme you hear me talk about our players is good teammates, good clubhouse guys, and that's really important because a lot of what happens in the clubhouse, it transfers out onto the field. And when you have a lot of me, I type guys in the clubhouse, you get me, I type play out on the field. So we have a lot of guys that care about each other. They work hard, and it'll be fun to get him on the phone here in a little while, but we're really looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, definitely. So Logan Williamson, Andres Perez, Bo Vaughn, all back in the fold here in 2015. We will take our final break here, and we will have Bo on the phone when we come back. We'll close out the show with William. Bo Vaughn will be our interview guest, so stay tuned for that. Another fun episode this week. The signings have been unveiled, and we'll talk to Bo live when we return here on Revs Hot Stove Weekly. You're listening right here on Sports Radio 1350, WOYK1350.com, and the WOYK mobile apps.
In the midst of the long, harsh Pennsylvania winter, anticipation is building. An undeniable excitement born from the knowledge that each passing day brings us closer to a new beginning. One day closer to making a statement. Closer to writing a new chapter in the York Revolution's history. As we count down to April 24th, we're reminded that each day brings us closer to the start of something special. Sports Radio 1350, WOYK. The York College Spartans play here. Catch York College basketball all season on Sports Radio 1350, WOYK. Your home for York's home teams.
Here's Westner again, behind a screen, he hits another three! Ahead to Myers, wide open for the dunk. He jams another one, his second tonight.
The spot for the Spartans. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
It's a big championship rematch between Central York and York High in our high school basketball game of the week presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. Join Ron Rubin and Andy Bria beginning at 6:30 tonight live from the Grumbacher Center at York College as they bring you the YAIAA Boys Championship game, which is a rematch from last year's contest between the Central York Panthers and the York High Bearcats. You can listen on the air on Sports Radio 1350 WOIK, online at WOIK1350.com, and on the WOIK mobile apps.
Get ready for winter now and save big on your heating oil or propane costs. Call today to schedule your first fill, and don't forget to ask our energy advisors about the right money-saving plan or budget to fit your lifestyle. Lock in your rate and protect your price all winter. Our price-protected customers save an average of $325 per year. Visit ShipleyEnergy.com or call 855-4SHIPLEY to schedule your next heating oil or propane delivery. Shipley Energy, energy for life.
January and February are Caribbean months at Fender's Grill and Pub, located at the Wyndham Garden York, formerly the Holiday Inn by the West Manchester Mall. Featuring chef's Caribbean specialties and Caribbean drinks, plus Fender's regular menu. Visit Fender's to beat the winter blues and sign up for a chance to win a beach vacation. Register during January and February. The winner will be drawn on March 1st. Fender's is open daily for breakfast and dinner, for private parties, and we have live entertainment Friday nights. Fender's Grill and Pub, 2000 Louts Road in York. Come visit us today.
Hi, this is Wayne McCullough. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for Central PA Game Day, right here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. Join us as we celebrate the best of local sports with your teams and your student athletes. Interviews with players and coaches and the high school scoreboard show every Saturday morning. Central PA Game Day, Saturdays at 9 on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
Hey, this is Donovan McNabb from NBC Sports Radio. The Revs play here. Catch York Revolution Baseball on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Closing out edition number 2 of Revs Hot Stove Weekly in Style with a live interview. And the man, the myth, the legend is with us, Bo Vaughn. Bo, great to talk with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Daryl.
Great to have you. How's the weather where you are, first of all?
I can venture a guess and say it's probably better than York, PA right now.
You'd be correct. I think our wind chills are in the single digits. You're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, it's about 80, not a cloud in the sky.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Bo. We'll talk to you. No, I'm just kidding. What are you up to? You're working on coaching some kids, right?
Yeah, my off-season job is that I substitute teach in the high school I frequently substitute teach at. Their baseball program's been nice enough to let me work out with them until I head back east for York.
All right. So, have you gotten your walking in today? Are you doing it now?
I teach up in the weight room, so I'm just walking back and forth in there. So I get a couple miles in every day.
All right. When we announced your signing, Bo, we introduced it with your entrance music. Are you going to stick with Cyndi Lauper this season? I think that's the most important question that everybody wants to know.
As near and dear as that song is to me, I think I am going to change it up this year.
Oh, Ray, breaking news clip again? No, that's
yes,
right.
Breaking news. I'm changing my song.
Breaking news. All right. Do you want to spill the beans on which way you're leaning, or too early to tell?
Oh no, I've already got one in mind. It's an oldie. It's Bob Dylan. I'll say that much.
All right. We'll look forward to that. What's the excitement level like for you with a little over 2 months till opening day? I guess about exactly 2 months until you and the boys get here to town. You looking forward to it at this point?
It's that funny thing as you get into the season and the daily grind wears on you come June and July, and your party is almost counting the days like, all right, when's this over? I need a break. And then, sure enough, the same thing happens in the off season. I've been chomping at the bit for about the last month to get out and throw and get back in it. So I can't wait to get back to York.
Well, you and the bullpen in general had a great year last year. Did you feel like it was all clicking? I mean, did it feel like you went out there, you didn't have to have to think about anything, just kind of go about your job? Were you in a good rhythm like that?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Was we had a great chemistry throughout the bullpen as guys came in and guys left. It was a really great time down there the whole season. We had some guys that were there for the full year, and it was just everybody meshed really well together.
It's obviously a very unique unit within the framework of a team. How much fun is it to be down there every night? And like you said, I mean, last year's group was outstanding. You had some grizzled vets that have been to the show and everything, but very good personalities. And how much fun is it to be down there and to be part of that group each night? Do you kind of feed off each other?
Yeah, we do. We all feed off each other, and we do get a little cliquish. We spend a lot of time together, so we have the relievers have our pregame shower routine that I know Stephen Penny loves. And it was great. We had a wide range of ages. I think, Durham was the young kid. He was like 25, 26, all the way to Mark Hendrickson, Grandpa, right at 40. So it was a wide range. Some great Latin teammates. We had a good group down there. A lot of different points of view.
I want to ask a follow-up question. I'm just not sure which one to. What was it about the shower routine that Mr. Penny enjoyed, Bo?
It's just a group activity we would do together, and it seemed like Penny was by far the most excited to get naked with a bunch of guys.
Oh man! Well, but it's what gets you guys ready for the game, right? It has its purpose.
Yeah, it was a daily routine, and it was kind of funny and goofy, but it put us in that routine, and we came out the same way every day.
You don't mess with success, right?
That's right. We're superstitious as they get.
Talking with the one and only Bo Vaughn here on Revs Hot Stove Weekly. As far as your role, are you looking for the same role out of the bullpen this year? Is that what you expect? And is that kind of what you're geared toward at this point in your career?
Well, I think we're going to have to ask Mace what exactly my role was. I kind of did a little bit of everything last year, and I enjoyed it. It was great. I'm at the stage in my career now where, getting back to affiliated ball is kind of out there. It doesn't seem like it's a real possibility. So for me, it's just being there with my teammates and doing whatever Mace and Fletch needed me to do.
He's here if you want to ask him.
Oh, I would love to talk to Mace.
He's right here next to me.
Oh, all right. Hey, Mace, how you doing?
Bo, I'm great. Good to talk to you.
Right. Hey, if you want to ask a question, let's ask Mace what his favorite thing was last year about me having a bad outing.
A bad outing?
Yeah, the times I had a bad outing, I know those were Mace's favorite moments.
Are you talking about when I would see you in the clubhouse after the game, Bo?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the totally naked Bo Vaughn standing at the door. If we won the game and he didn't think he pitched very well, he would always grace me with the total nudity as soon as I got to the clubhouse. So it was, that was always fun.
And I always did it for Mace. He always had the best reaction.
Oh, man. What a welcome. Well, and folks must understand that, nudity has its place out there. It's looked upon a little bit differently than in maybe the business world, for instance. So
that clubhouse is Las Vegas. What happens there stays there. Except for now when I'm spilling it all on the radio.
Well, and we appreciate that. So thank you for doing that. You're coming off the fantasy football commissionership. Did we have a good year?
I think we had a really good year. It was competitive. It was fun. There was a lot of good trash talking going around.
Who won? I don't even remember.
I believe I mailed the biggest check to Justin Green.
Okay.
I think he was the regular season champ and the playoff champion.
All right, good run for him.
Yeah.
As commissioner, did you have to take any disciplinary action on anyone?
I would have loved to, just to show Roger Goodell how it's done, but unfortunately, we didn't have any misbehaving going on in our league.
Do you want to reprise your role next season as commish?
Well, actually, in the time between this NFL season has ended and now, I have completely sworn off professional football.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
I'm fed up with the scandals and all the stuff going on, and just the stuff that puts a bad taste in your mouth as a fan. I decide I'm boycotting.
All right. Well, I lost money on it too, so maybe I'll do the same. Well, Bo, we do have to run. Thank you very much for taking the time, though, and great to have you back this year.
Hey, my pleasure. Good to hear your voice, Daryl, and good to hear your voice, Mace.
Thank you. You too, Bo.
All right, we'll see you soon. Bo Vaughn.
Hey guys, have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bo Vaughn joining us to wrap up this week's show. Mace, thank you very much, and look forward to what next week brings.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Well, for Mark Mason with me, Ray Jensen on the board, Daryl Henry saying so long. Again, Logan Williamson, Andres Perez, Bo Vaughn all returning in 2015. Thanks very much for listening to Revs Hot Stove Weekly. We'll talk to you at 4 o'clock next week here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
First in York, first in sports. Your only local sports station. The new Sports Radio 1350, WOYK, York, Pennsylvania.